Thank you so much, Omphile, for joining me for this conversation. Odhiambo David is my name, and I'm part of the African Pharmaceutical Network coordinating team. So maybe you'll just take one opportunity to introduce yourself so that our viewers and the people who will be watching this recording also get to know who Omphile is.
Okay.
Over to you.
Thank you, David. My name is Omphile like Badubi. I'm a pharmacist by profession. I hold an first degree in pharmacy from the University of Robert Gordon in Scotland, and a Master of Clinical Pharmacy from Curtin University in Perth, Australia. I've been a pharmacist for 27 years. Most of my work has been in hospital and in supply chain. Specifically, I worked in hospital for 8 years and in community pharmacy for 2 years. And in hospital, I worked up to the level of the pharmacy manager in a hospital, in a mining hospital, that is. And then after that, I joined the supply chain world when I was recruited by a USAID project called the Supply Chain Management System in 2007, and I've been working since there. My work, and then in around 2015, I went on and joined Botswana University of Maryland, where I was a pharmacist improvement specialist, looking at improving doing pharmaceutical system strengthening, specifically dealing with people with HIV, and providing training to those who will be prescribing and dispensing medicines. And then after 3 years, I joined the USAID Global Health Supply Chain Program, Procurement and Supply Management Project, as their supply chain technical advisor. Now, in this role, I oversee health system, supply chain system strengthening activities, and also oversee the procurement activities. And in my line of work, I tend to interact a lot with the Medicines Regulatory Authority, as I would be importing some of the medicines that we require for the programs. So in a nutshell, that's where I am, and my main interest, even at university level, has always been access to medicines and patient safety. Those are the two things that I'm passionate about. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Omphile, for that introduction. And maybe just to ask, all these experience has been based in Botswana, where you're operating, and that your home country.
Yes. Unfortunately, I've never worked outside Botswana, and it's something that I've always been looking forward to work outside Botswana. Although I work for an international organization, I still work within Botswana following Botswana processes, following Botswana specific regulations and stuff like that. So I don't have another country experience. That's the unfortunate part.
Okay, that's good to know as well, because the question I was asking that is the sense that you said your first degree was in pharmacy, you studied that in Scotland, so I presume probably maybe you graduated and started practicing in Scotland before coming back, but that's really understandable. Thank you so much. So looking at your practice background, mostly you had community pharmacy practice, hospital pharmacy, then now you've been working in the supply chain for the longest time. What sparked your interest to venture into the regulatory affairs program?
Okay. In my interaction with the central medical stores and the regulatory authority, I realized that sometimes we fail to have access to certain medicines, to certain treatment protocols, just because one, our regulatory processes either we don't understand them adequately to be able to navigate through them and get the molecules the right drugs at the right time. And for instance, you would hear people talking. I mean, when we are doing forecasting, sometimes you would hear people talking about this product is going to be discontinued in 2 years or something like that. And then those business intelligence issues got me asking myself, how does this person get to know this? You hear people say, oh, this product will be out of patent in so many days, and therefore we are likely to have better access to it at a lower price once it becomes a generic or something like that. All these things are coming up, and you want to help your people have access to those products. And once you know how to navigate the regulatory environment, I think you can function better. And that's one thing that motivated me. The other thing that motivated me is that, one, in our interactions with the BOMRA, we hear them talk of the falsified and substandard products that they have encountered during their inspections and stuff like that. And then you also hear them talk about issues of pharmacovigilance, especially during the COVID era. And sorry, somebody's interrupting with a phone call insistently. Sorry.
Okay.
Just a moment.
It's okay.
Hello, I'm on meeting. Hello, I'm in a meeting. Shut, Baba. Mama, wait, that's low. Sorry about that.
It's okay, no worries.
It's my son calling from school.
It's okay.
Okay. I was saying, when COVID vaccine was introduced, adverse events following immunizations became a topical issue that needed to be reported a lot. And our interaction with the regulator increased, and knowing what to do in the pharmacovigilance space became important. The other thing is that I'm a member of the post-marketing surveillance, national post-marketing surveillance team, committee of the Botswana Medicines Regulatory Authority. And they do sampling. The committee, because we do the plans, the strategies for the sampling in the community or other businesses, advising that process from a regulatory affairs skills perspective became key. So that's why I got interested in regulatory affairs. First was about the issue of access, then the second was the issue of safety.
Safety.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
Right.
And I think that points to the aspect. And I think most of our people, at times when we talk about regulations, people look at registering the product and leaving it at that. People don't correlate it to the safety. And even when you're talking about the COVID situation, adverse events following immunizations and related, those are some of the key things that people have not talked about as much. And I'm glad that you've looked at it as a probable initiation point for you, looking at how do you get into the regulatory affairs space and how would that look like. And I would say for now, as African Pharmaceutical, we are glad that we had you in our cohort, in the last cohort that we just finished last month. And as you're moving forward, one of the key questions that will be keen to capture from you as well is that how was your experience for the 3 months that you were learning in the program? I know it was late in the evenings, after work and related. How was the experience generally in terms of the content, areas of improvement, and your perspectives? Yeah. Over to you.
Okay. In terms of first I'll talk about in terms of content. In terms of content, I think the entire course was structured well. The key topics, although I'm not I came there as a novice in regulatory affairs, and I think you covered all the corners of that needed to be covered. I know it could be at the basic level, but I think you covered all the basic things that one would want to know, to fully understand when they go into regulatory matters. The issues you talked about, the clinical trials, you talked about the dossier, the way it is arranged, you talked about the regulatory pathways, you talked about bio the clinical, I've mentioned clinical trials, the bioequivalence, all those things, even the profession, where does a regulatory affairs professional operate, the career opportunities and stuff like that. And then looking at the case studies that you provided for the at the end of that we presented at the end of the course as an assignment. Then when you look at my experience with the lecturers, the facilitators, I think your facilitators are indeed subject matter experts. They know, especially you yourself. You know you have in-depth knowledge of the subject, and I mean, I think all of your facilitators, there was no scenario that they couldn't handle, and there is no question that they couldn't handle. They were giving examples that showed that they know they are not like textbook kind of experts. They are living the experience. That's when I look at the perspective from on the faculty angle. Then when I look at my own experience, it is, I mean, I think it has been a fulfilling journey, though challenging. Coming from work at 5:30 and you are in class for 2 hours, and by the time you finish class, it's time to help people with assignments and stuff like that. Yeah, it can be a challenge, and it needed a little bit of adjustment. And sometimes the lessons would be happening while I'm out in the field, and yeah, it was good. It required a good adjustment to schedules, and I'm glad I managed that. In terms of what can be improved, I know at the end during the session, each session, and at the end of each session, we are given a chance either to evaluate the session or to respond to some of the questions to material that we have been presented to us.
Yes.
And felt maybe that next time, whether you can infuse some case studies, short case studies, very short, not as big as the ones we ended up presenting, but short and specific to the other half, maybe dealing with the half of the lessons that have been presented to us, and then the second one can be in the same format that was presented. And I don't know if there is any opportunity maybe to consider other platforms where we can actually just type and submit our own assignments. If it's not a case study, maybe using like a board
Mm.
where we submit our own assignments and written short answer things. Yeah,
Okay.
those are the improvements that I think could be used. Otherwise, the network has been fine. We know the challenges that we encounter, but in all, the network has been stable. Thank you.
No, thank you so much, Mpile. I think those are critical insights in terms of the ability of what we're offering. And for me, the critical piece for the work that we're doing is there's room for improvement. And one of the aspects that we're trying to work around is on the assessments. And the way you talked about the written assessment that you're now submitting, and actually those are evaluated and all that. That is one of the key pieces that we are adding into the program, and we're hoping that will take effect effectively from next year. That will be from January 2025, in the first cohort of 2025. So thank you for highlighting it as well. And then the
Yeah.
other piece that I think you've also highlighted, those case examples, it is feedback that we also got from our networking dean. Unfortunately, you're not able to join us, but I'm glad that these aspects are now bringing the case examples in the class so that we can discuss them as we move. They become live examples of discussions and discourse during the presentations. So thank you for that feedback. And I believe if we keep taking up such kind of insights, we're able to improve and get it forward as we move along. So thank you so much for that. Yeah.
All right.
And one last question that I would have for you, from your experience and your work in supply chain, what areas are you looking at applying this regulatory knowledge that you now have in your professional practice?
Okay. They are in right now. It's basically on the issue of handling exemptions. Immediately is this issue of handling exemptions. We have products that are not registered in the country, and we do have patients who need them.
Yes.
And we need to find ways of making the process quite easy for access to those products, and looking at all the modalities that are available. Botswana, by and large, no, our manufacturing sector, pharmaceutical manufacturing sector, is almost non-existent. We have what we can call tertiary manufacturers, the ones that are doing pre-packaging only. Yeah, them and it's mainly ARVs. Now, when you look at other molecules for maybe cancer treatment, the numbers of cancer cases that we get in Botswana, the amount of product required does not even meet manufacturing batch, and it doesn't motivate international pharmaceutical companies to produce or even come and register their projects here in Botswana. So we need to find ways of, one, getting exemptions, two, using pooled procurement mechanisms with other countries, three, those regulatory pathways such as deep reliance or recognition pathways. We need to find ways of leveraging them more. And then in terms of our project is going to transition to likely to transition to a project with a pharmaceutical system strengthening, not just supply chain. When we transition to next gen, I see it as an opportunity now to strengthen to help BOMRA, to work with BOMRA on their journey towards a maturity level 3 regulatory authority. similar to what Zimbabwe has achieved recently. So that's where I see perhaps in the short term, medium term, I'll be working on. Yeah.
No, thank you so much for that. And I really appreciate that experience and also looking at it in terms of what value does it add to you. And one of the key pieces that actually one of the key things we've been asking ourselves based on African pharmaceutical network trajectory and the scope of work, we're looking at workforce development, which is the training piece, the business ecosystem support in terms of engaging with stakeholders to see how do we make access a possibility in the continent. And you've talked at that as well. And the last piece is the policy shaping. And by the virtue that your work gives you the advantage now that you can apply the learning to support Bombra to achieve maturity level 3, that would be a contribution to that vision that we are seeing. And we're really honored to have had you in our class. And we're grateful that you have this opportunity, and we're hoping we keep contacting and engaging. And one of the key pieces that I would just want to share is that after the class, I believe Juliet has already shared some resources with you. We're having the new WhatsApp group where we have the alumni group. And the aim of it basically is just to have these conversations ongoing. You have a project you're working on, you need maybe some insights. If we are able to support, we'll be more than glad, and I commit that as a team, we will be there to support every way of the journey to make that journey as seamless as possible, but to strengthen pharmaceutical systems in the continent together. So thank you so much for your opportunity.
No problem. And the other thing that we have worked on in 2021, we worked with Bomra on developing the pharmaceutical traceability system. Strategy on developing the pharmaceutical traceability strategy. That is GS1. And really, we never got traction on that because of funding issues. And I think now with a little bit of more understanding of the regulatory affairs, perhaps will be more on the advocacy side for pharmaceutical traceability. I think I'll be better placed. I'm in a good place now to be able to advocate more with a little bit of regulatory knowledge. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And thank you, Pile. Yeah. And I don't know if there's any question that you have for me or any additional comments as we come to the end of this.
Just to say, just a request, just stay in the loop. Of course, I've joined the APN team and I'll be participating in the other forums. And if there is anything that is coming in the way of trainings, I would like to have an opportunity to try that as well. And I'll just other thing that I forgot to mention. We have the University of Botswana here. They just produced their second cohort of pharmacy graduates, degree graduates. And I once went there for a job interview I was going to join as try my hand at pharmacy practice lecturing. And I knew I didn't have the adequate skills, but I think this builds towards that because these are the things that are covered in pharmacy practice, regulatory affairs. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. That's amazing. And you mentioning University of Botswana, rekindled memories. My sister schooled in University of Botswana. She did her master's there.
Master's in what?
Master's in solid waste management and mechanical engineering.
Okay.
Yes. So fantastic. Great. We'll keep to connect and see how we can make that work. And actually, one of the key options that we're looking at would be more of engagement with the university so that we make these practical learnings get into the landscape. And wish you all the best in that journey.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you and have a good one.
Okay, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.